Alright, we got a Spark. We have a Spark Lightning Spear build using the new Splintering energy. We just have a regular ring with... Basically, you want as much crit damage as you can because this thing scales. You know, critical hits with Lightning Spear cause lightning to arc from it, dealing 2571 damage to its target and up to 5 other enemies. It's way better on groups of enemies than it is single target because of the chaining to 5 enemies component. This damage is increased by your critical strike damage bonus, and that is a 1-to-1. So if you have 100% critical strike damage bonus, it's increased by 100%. If you have 300% critical strike damage, that's increased by 300%. And that is not looking at that 1803 value, it's looking at the 1169.2 value. That is the only value you should ever look at when you're trying to figure out your critical strike damage. The other one's incredibly inflated. Same thing goes for vulnerable. Look at the 74.6. Alright, so the build is just the Splintering, Shredding Blades, Overwhelming Currents so that you have a chance to make more spears during unstable currents. We don't run Rapid to get more attack speed. I do run Conceited, and then I have Storm Swell. And I'm missing a lot of Conj Mastery ranks, so Storm Swell is double dipping right now, so you're getting an extra, times 1.3. But because, I don't have all the Conj Mastery ranks that I could have, it's a bit of a wash. Alright, so let's see how it does for Lillith. Oh, it's a bad start, but almost got her. With these Conj Mastery builds, the damage is always a little, because it's like random how many conjurations that you get. Sometimes it's got such a wide variance that sometimes you nuke, and then sometimes it's a little slower, and then like randomly you'll make a bunch of lightning spears, and it just fucking ramps up to the moon. Alright. Seen some really high damage. And they're dead. And we're gonna let it kill us. We'll go check it out in the training dummy, and then we'll run a pit with it. Alright. I gotta see it live, man. The PTR is so buggy, things are subject to change. But this build, I do opt to not run Lightning Spear enchant on this. It's just easier to run Firebolt on this. It doesn't make as much crackling as, say, Ball Lightning or Chain Lightning. It becomes a bit of a hassle, so it's easier to just take Firebolt enchant. And you're not spending mana, so you can, instead of running Unleash or Adapt or something like that, you just take Flame Feeder. So you're not giving up anything for it. That helps you get a nice little multi from Dev Blaze, 21%, and the Flame Feeder Glyph. Alright, so let's do Elites. Let's get a bunch of them. And we're going. Get a nice amount of conj, 24. Seen some 16 million damage procs. And it's nice, every time we proc Lightning Spear, we get another 3 because of the 2 Lightning Spear tempers. That was pretty dope. Let's check it out with Verz. I think Verz is a little funky right now, but it's just still going off. Let's check it out with Verz. Verz is a little weird right now. I don't really think... So the portion of Verz here, the critical strikes have a 10% chance to cause their damage to arc as lightning damage. That's functioning as intended in the PTR. It is like a 1-for-1. But the enemies have to be really close to each other. They will arc and deal 100% of the damage. But this, like, if there are no other targets, you hit the target again for 250% of damage. We don't really think it's working. It's not really scaling with multis. It just appears to be dealing like 250% of base damage. But we'll see if we can get some chains in here. I think the main difference here is I want to see how many spears I can get out with Verz versus overflowing. So it's definitely less. Less by a few. I think once Verz is working correctly, I think you can really pick either Verz or overflowing. I think they both have their merits. I think Verz will help with the single target damage. I'm not sure if, I don't know, it depends. It gets really wishy-washy because it comes down to conjurations and how many Conj Mastery stacks you have, and it just becomes really mathy. But the good news is you can just go like this. You can just trade them on and off and see which one you like better, and you'll know. The verse is nice because it has the all DR, 25%. That's huge. And then, you know, it will have the 250% damage explosion. So like if you're normally doing 10 million, you're probably going to deal upwards of like 35 million, like when it does go off. So if this does get working, we could see this just like completely outclassing overflowing. All right, let's check it out on boss single. Right, so this is overflowing. I want to get as many as I had before. I had a ton previously. Been unable to get. Well, that's because I had Lightning Spear enchant. So let's try something. Let's take off this. Let's take Lightning Spear enchant, and then we'll drop this crit node right here for flickering, and make sure we'll drop these. We'll take this static discharge, and let's kind of see how many we can get with Lightning Spear enchant. It makes a big difference. 24, 27. So, that's a bit of a toss-up. Definitely can get a lot. But Firebolt's going to be more consistent damage, whereas, you know, Lightning Sphere enchant has always been, yeah, you know what I mean? So now we're like, at times we shoot up way higher, like 27, 28, 29. Like at times you shoot up way higher than you ever can with, you know, just running Firebolt enchant. Bit of a toss-up. The burning's really nice, but you do have to invest more skill points and glyphs into it. But the burning is nice because you can build your board around a little bit of, you can put Tactician on like Burning Instinct and get some really nice burning DR. Again, I think that's a bit of a wash. You can either run Lightning Spear enchant or you can run Firebolt. And like if you're running Lightning Spear enchant, obviously you'd want it to make crackling. If you're running Firebolt, you'd want Glinting because you just want that crit chance. Because it is really nice. As you can see, it gives you 8% more crit chance as you cast, and it's up to 75. Asu evade, 94.7, and that's with not totally optimized gear, so you can easily get to 100% crit chance. And let's go back to Vers. No, this is fine. Let's just go straight into Saragar, and let's run a pit. Except for I won't do my shitty Donald Trump one. I'm not Shane Gillis. Believe me, there's a lot of good builds out there. People see my builds, they say they're the best. Very reputable people. Alright, just fucking Christ. Alright, Pit 101 with Spark. Definitely mobs way better because of the 5 chains. As you can see, it just basically hoses everything. But it does, as with most sorcerer builds, it does fall off a little bit when you're bossing, because the 5 chain part of Splintering is not active. This chains its damage to one target and up to 5 other enemies. So I put in a little bit of feedback about Splintering that I really love that portion of it for mobbing, but there could be something that helps it scale and deal with bosses better. Because it's just very notorious with sorcerer aspects to just like be goated with mobbing. And the problem with sorcerer is like if you make a ball lightning build and you know say you're already strapped for aspects, and then it's like, okay, you know, I'm gonna take a bunch of crit strike damage, I'll get my crit strike chance really high, and then let's see if I can make Splintering work on this build to like get a little bit more damage out of it. But then you then sacrifice the 30% damage aspect for your ball lightning. And it's really not going to help you with your boss damage that much. It kind of wants to go on the amulet if it does want to scale. It's really an all or nothing. You have to put all your eggs into one basket. These guys are just getting shredded. Hopefully I can get a good map layout, not just like run out of mobs. Firebolt's definitely the choice, especially, yeah. Things are just getting obliterated. So yeah, I would just like if Splintering had some form of boss damage thing on here. Like maybe deals damage to your target and up to 5 other enemies. If there's not another target to chain to, it does blah blah blah. Yoink. Oh, what did I get? Where was this in live? Of course I get this in the PTR. But yeah, that's Spark. So I think Spark is going to be the play with Splintering, just because of how many. When you run it with Ball Lightning, you don't really even want to run it with Grav. But then to like ease the mana concerns, you want to run Starless. But the problem then is you really do want 2 Legendary Rings because of the critical strike damage tempers. It just increases the damage by a lot. So yeah, and the attack speed too. Yeah, I think it's Spark. Who would have thought? I wouldn't have.